Job, aimed at providing you with resources and assistance to start your own business. Focusing on customer benefits, analyzing the marketplace, financial forecasting, financial assistance, creating your own job.
Welcome to Creating Your Own Job, a series that features topics and experts to help you start or grow your own business. Today's show will help businesses learn how to drive more people to their websites, their storefronts on the internet. I'm Ben Eason. I'm the president of the Networked Planet. With me are Kirsten Murawski. She's a digital marketing consultant, and Steve Scott, who is the owner of Tampa SEO Training Academy. So let's just kind of dive in. So you've got your business established, and you've been hearing from all your friends that you have to have a website, and there's riches to be made while you sleep, and so you crank your website up. Let's take us through what do you do, and I'll start with you, Steve. So on step one, what do you do?
Well, the first thing that you've got to make sure that you do is not make the big mistake up front. And that first mistake is hiring a web design company before you've done any research into what people actually are looking for, what they want. And so the first step in putting up a successful website is doing the keyword research. There's tools out there, like Google's got a free keyword tool.
Let me back you up and
Sure.
just explain what's a keyword.
Well, a keyword is a phrase or a word that you might type into a search engine when you're trying to find something. So if you were looking to buy a new camera and you typed in, best digital camera, that would be a search term.
Okay.
If you were a lawyer in Tampa, or you needed a federal criminal lawyer, if you typed in, criminal lawyer, federal criminal lawyer in Tampa, okay, that would be a search term. So the keywords are the words and phrases that people are physically and actually typing into the major search engines to find the things that they're looking for. Okay. And so using these tools, we can then, in fact, find out specifically how often someone searches for a term, what term they're using, how easy or hard it might be to get ranked for that term, and the search results that show up when you hit go. And getting that list of information together helps you make the right decisions as far as how am I going to, what am I going to go after? What am I going to target? It's your demographic and your market research.
So let's pick a hypothetical client. Let's say I don't know if you've got one in mind, but let's just say that I'm good at making furniture, custom furniture, and so I got laid off at the mill, and this is what my life's passion is, and I'm gonna go start my custom furniture. So how would I do this keyword research?
Well, what you would do is you'd go to a tool like Google, and you can actually look up in Google keyword tool, and it'll come up with right on top. And you go in there and you type in what I call a seed list. So you could type in custom furniture, custom designed furniture, unique furniture, things like that. And Google will tell you a bunch of words, up to 800 in fact, for any one keyword phrase, what other words or phrases people might also be looking for that are related to that particular word. And then you can go through that list and see, well, which words really are very focused on what I'm doing or what I'm really targeting, which words are sort of not, we don't care about those words. And then we begin to build the website and the information that's on that website by incorporating those specific and exact words and phrases into our website's design, into its content, and into the areas of a website that the search engines can understand.
Now, would the name of the www that I would type, would that play into it? So I'd be, Ben's Custom Woodworking of Tampa, something like that, where you have all the words up in your.
Well, in the past, that was one of the best ways to do things. Google is getting a lot more finicky as far as what they'll accept as what's good or not. So the short answer is yes. If you have a keyword phrase in your .com or in your company name, that's certainly going to help you. However, if that's all you have, if you don't have good, unique, quality content, if it's not interesting and informative, if it doesn't make people want to read and kind of delve deeper into your site, then it's not going to help you. It can, in fact, hurt you with recent updates from Google.
I got you. So I've now gone to GoDaddy or one of the network solutions or one of those companies, and I bought myself a URL, and I've gone to Google and I've looked up the keywords, and I have kind of a sense of what words I think kind of apply to my business. Now, what do I do?
Well, the best thing to do is start writing good, unique, original content. Content is king. It always has been, even more so today than it's been, years past. Nowadays, if you write fresh, unique, and original content on a regular basis will be at least once a week, keeping that content unique, focused on your target audience, and just using the keywords that you've researched as part of that information, or even as a topic area for each of those pieces of content, you're going to be in a good place.
And what if I didn't do so good in English in high school and in college and stuff?
Hire copywriters.
All this writing, I'm a woodworker guy.
Sure, there's copywriters that do stuff for you. You can certainly hire people out. I would hire English majors or other people from the U.S.
Okay.
A lot of times you hire overseas because it's cheaper. You get what you pay for, generally speaking. So people buy from what you say on your website. They don't buy from the search engines. Search engines don't buy anything from you, right? People do. And so you have to make sure that you know how to write to people, know how to get them to understand what you've got to offer, and get them to want to click on your purchase button.
And can I go and look up something in like a woodworker in Seattle, and if it looks pretty good, then I can kind of borrow some of the things that they've got on their
I would
site?
say no.
Okay.
Reason being is that you can't assume that what someone's doing well on one thing is going to work for you.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way. You can't compare. There's over 200 factors that go into how Google determines what's going to be number one or number two.
Right.
It's sort of like a baker baking cakes. You can't assume the ingredients that you use for a strawberry shortcake are going to make a great chocolate fudge cake.
Okay.
It's not going to work that way. So you can't compare apples to apples just because someone's in the same business. Well, what level of competition is in that area?
Okay.
Are the thing that you're copying, are they doing it wrong? But other things that they're doing, the other ingredients of their cake, are they making it taste good even if they got too little bit of this?
Gotcha.
So it's important to understand that aspect.
Then I find somebody that can actually build the website for me and work with you, or do you build the website? How does the website get built?
Yeah, I mean, web designers are a key role in this. The problem that a lot of folks have is they put the cart before the horse. They hire a web designer, which is a lot like an interior decorator, before they hire the architect or the contractor. And so, in essence, when you build a website without speaking to someone that knows about search engine optimization, internet marketing, how to get people to your site, how to bring them into your site, you wind up creating maybe a very nice looking site that wasn't built properly.
Okay.
And it's sort of like painting the walls of your house and putting furniture in it and then trying to put in the electrical systems and the plumbing. It doesn't work that way. You've got to rip everything apart and put it all back together again. And more often than not, that's what happens. So it's important to talk to or work with somebody that understands the search engine aspect of this, because how you design your site, technically speaking, will have an impact on how you will rank. And going back after the fact means you're going to wind up spending a lot more money, maybe causing yourself a lot of grief, a lot of misery, because you did things wrong out of the gate rather than speaking to the architect first.
And so when you say rank, and so our site's now built and it's up and taking your advice, and we've got the right keywords in the website and it's out there. Take me through when you type in the search term, custom Tampa furniture or
right.
something. And then how does Google, there's some ads up front, there's some words up, some information up on the top and information. What's free, what's paid? How does that work?
Well, there's basically two general sections of most search engines. At the top 2 or 3 listings tend to be sponsored ads. So someone's paying a fee if you click on that listing. They typically are in a different color, and they'll say sponsored ad on it. That'll be on top, and also sometimes on the right-hand side of the screen. Not always is that the case, but you will find that. And you only pay as an advertiser when someone clicks on that link. The organic or free listing or natural, whatever you want to call them, those are the listings that just come up because Google has sort of tasted your cake and has determined that you've got the best cake for that keyword phrase.
Okay. And so all the work that we've done in the architecture part is designed to get us ranked in the free side, right?
It's a portion of it, yeah.
Okay.
It's about a third, let's say. There's 3 major aspects of how all these ingredients come together, these ranking factors that we talk about. There's what you do on your own website and how you do that. There's what you do off of your website. Sort of like if you open up a store, physical store, and then didn't market it, didn't advertise it, you wouldn't really get anything, right? And so it's the same case here. Here you've got to build links, you've got to get people to say, hey, these guys are great, go check them out. And then there's social aspects. You have to have a social buzz. You have to be talked about. People have to be sharing your information and letting people know that you're out there.
Let me bring Kirsten into this. So so your expertise is to bring people to the site once we got it all sort of built. So what's the first thing that you do now that we've got our website built? What would where do you take it?
I like to meet with the client and find out, you know, anybody really needs to know who's coming to the site, why are they coming there, what are they purchasing, and deciding what's going to be the best strategy. I think that search engine optimization, or SEO, organic traffic, is always important for any type of site, but how are we going to figure out which keywords are really going to work and convert into a customer that's going to buy, or a client or a potential client. So a couple of things that I might start off with is getting them started in Google Maps. For example, if this wood furniture would sell furniture locally, it would be nice if somebody typed in one of the search engines, wood furniture Tampa, that your website would show up. So getting all of these different local directories, which is going to be your Google Maps, Merchant Circle, Tampa Bay Online, they all have free listings where you can actually put your website in there, some pictures, store hours, what kind of payment information that you take. So there's a lot of different ways to get some presence in the search engine result page without paying anything, which is nice for a new business owner, and they can, you know, start to get some traction through the door.
Gotcha. And now, and then as far as like maybe I've got a few $100s a month to advertise online. What would I do? How would I advertise that?
I think a strong recommendation for business owners is to look into paid search advertisement. Google has a nice back end of their website called Google AdWords, where you can actually choose which keywords. A little bit what Steve was saying is you can use the keyword tool, see historically how many people actually search that word, so you know that you're, you know, targeting a word that a lot of people are looking for. And then as well, there's also Microsoft Ad Center, which will also get you on Yahoo and Bing. Okay. How it works is you select your keywords, and then you group them by relevancy. You write an ad that's relevant, and then you decide which page on your website you want to land them on. The home page isn't always the most relevant, so you want to go to the subcategory, or maybe even the actual product if that's what the searcher was looking for.
So take me through how exactly that works. So I go and I open up an account at Google, and and now I've written my little lines that look like they ought to belong, and they click through. But how do I? What am I paying for? And who? I'm writing a check to Google, I guess, or handing my credit card over to Google.
They will take your credit card.
And so what am I buying, and how does that? How does the money work?
You can attach your credit card. There's a lot of coupons that they offer too. You can get your first $100 in advertising free. There's lots of coupons out there, so you can get your feet wet without having too much of an investment. You attach your credit card, and then you really have to decide how you want to market. You can geo-target, which is great. You can choose an actual point on the map and say, I only want to show ads in a 50-mile radius. So if you have a service or a product that needs to be sold in a specific geo-targeted area, you can actually choose that. You can also choose if people come into your website, it's going to make the phone ring, and you want to make sure that someone's there to answer the phone. You can run your ads just in business hours and on business days too. So you can turn off on the weekends or just on the weekends, depending what your business is.
And you bid for these ads? Is that the way it works?
Yes, it's a lot like the stock market. You're back there, and the auctions are live every single time somebody searches something on Google. It's a new live auction, so we can go in there and change your bids for positions as often as you want. You can also set a daily budget. So say in your first month you want to kind of tiptoe in, you only want to spend about $500 a month. If you did all 30 days, that's roughly $15. So you could say, I just want to spend $15 every day and then turn my ads off. So it's very controllable. It's an investment that you can make without going crazy, and make sure you've got targeted traffic coming in through the keywords that you've selected.
I got you. So if my budget's $15 a day, and I'm paying $1 a click or whatever the amount is, so I'll get 15 clicks, and so 15 people will come over to my site, and that's what I get for $15? Is that the way it works?
Approximately, depending on what you're bidding. What's nice is you can see what they've done on your website too. You can install a program like Google Analytics, which is a tracking software, which is free by Google, and you can see how they got to your website, which keyword they entered, which search engine they used, and then what did they do when they got there? Which pages did they navigate to? Did they fill out a contact us form? Did they complete a purchase and make it all the way to a thank you page afterwards, and you can actually see everything that happened through this visitor.
Okay. So going back to my my woodworking business, now how would you recommend that I actually make money off the website? How would so we've got our site and we've got people that find it. I'm prepared to put $500 into a marketing budget. What would how can I make my $500 back? Let's just say I have good stuff. You know, I have good tables that I'm making, good chairs. I can do some some custom things here or there. But if I sell a piece, they'll typically pay $1,000 for it. So if I could sell 2 or 3, I'm happy. At least I know that I can take home a little bit, but I'm building up a customer base. So how would you think about making money off of this, either of you guys?
I think you've already started. You've got good product. You've built a good website. You're putting out some advertising through the pay-per-click tools. You've done some local listings, so people are looking around on City Search or Merchant Circle or things along those lines. Another thing that's important nowadays is having reviews. So as you get good customers coming through your site, or other people who have been happy with the work that they've gotten, asking them to leave reviews for you on Google, Google Local, Google Places, that kind of thing, Yelp. Leaving reviews is a big thing right now as well. So especially in the local market. Local is a different animal than national. It's much, much different. And it's important to understand there's certain things that have to be in place. One of the things, Kirsten mentioned the Yelp City Search Merchant Circles for local. One thing that's very important to understand is that your name of your business, the address of your business, and the phone number of your business need to match exactly across all the ecosphere. So all the places that you go, don't use suite on one, STE on another one, and use room on a third. Don't use parentheses on one phone number and dashes on another. And make it exact and make sure that it matches as well what's on your actual website. All these things tie in together now. So it's important to do those things as you're moving forward. And to add a little bit onto the pay-per-click side of things too, pay-per-click is really good, and there's a lot of people out there that think it stinks or think it's expensive, or they think that, oh, this doesn't work. It does work. The problem is that there's a lot of things that if you don't do right with pay-per-click, you can lose your shirt overnight. That $100 that you get,
is that the truth?
Goes like that if you don't do it right. And there are ways, Kirsten mentioned a couple, to limit your exposure, limit your budgets. There's other ways as well that you can take that $100 and maximize the number of clicks that you get so that they're quality clicks, and maximize the potential for those clicks to be ranked as high as possible in Google. So again, it comes down to know-how, and a lot of folks think, hey, I got free $100, great, I'm gonna put $100 in, and they get nothing because they didn't do it right, and they, this stinks, so they're frustrated, and they go away and they never use it again, or they get upset that Google took all their money and they didn't get anything out of it. So it's a know-how thing.
How good's the tracking? So I mean, you hear a lot about what's so great about digital is that you can track it. Obviously, when I go onto a site, I notice if I go onto hotel.com or something like that, they'll chase me around and I'll see ads for hotels for the next 5 days or something like that. But how good is the tracking? Can I? You mentioned that I can trace it back to a keyword or something like that. But is that? Am I able to really run my business well on that?
Yeah, I would say, I'm not sure quite what the percent is, but as long as people aren't deleting their cookies, a lot of what Google Analytics uses is the cookies in the browsers. Am I using the correct word there?
There's some aspect of that, yeah, absolutely.
Define a cookie real quick.
It's a little piece of code that a website will put on your machine that lets them know when they were last there, how long it's been since you've been
that's
to
some
their
of
website.
that's some of that sort of spyware stuff.
It's
that
not
comes
quite
in.
spyware, but it's just a way of setting. It's sort of like if you you ever go to a website and it says, here's your username and password, and this is remember me.
Right.
Well, the remember me kind of puts it on your computer. It says, okay, your name is this, and we're gonna remember you were here last time, so we'll know. But there's different kinds of tracking. The kind you're talking about where they're chasing you with the advertising. That's a little different. That is more cookie related than I think what Kirsten and I definitely are talking about, where you're tracking what's happening on your website. So how people got there, where they came from, what other websites drove people there. If people directly typed in your URL into a browser bar, and then once they get there, how long are they staying? How many pages are they looking at? Are they coming back? Are they return visitors? These are elements that Google is really looking at now very highly to say, is your site likable? Is your site interesting? Do people, if people come to your site and go, ugh, and they leave because it's the content's really bad, or it's just really old school, or it's filled with ads everywhere and there's no real meat and potatoes, people tend to go away, and Google's looking at that and devaluing those sites in the search rankings. Whereas if you have a site that's got really good, solid content, and people are going, wow, I got to share this on Facebook. This is really great. This is so cool. Well, that's being rewarded now in search. So, all of those things are now a part of the overall puzzle, and SEO, which is traditionally what you did on your website, is taking on broader things. We're starting to look at a term like web strategist, because everything that you do on the web, from local to paid to search to link building and all that, it all ties into how you're going to rank in the search engines.
So let's talk some dollars and cents, and also guidance. If I wanted, if I was just starting out, what would I expect to spend to get a website, or give me sort of a range to get a website that's got a good, not great, but good architecture, gets me in the game. I don't make any mistakes, but maybe it's not the polish that I can afford after I've sold a few more tables and chairs. But I mean, so what does that look like?
I think that the price can really, it really can vary depending on what kind of firm you go with, or if you're able to find some independent people working. I think that you can get a good quality site for $2 to $3 grand. I would really stay away from anyone who's template or cookie cutter. A lot of times you don't have as much control over things on the website. For example, you can't control what the URLs are for the different pages, which is part of the SEO algorithm for many of the large search engines. So you really need to stay away from that type of thing. And when you do interview firms and find out how they build, ask them about SEO. Who helps design the architecture that actually puts the ingredients in for SEO to make sure that all of those factors are put into place up front.
So what would I just go into, if I was looking for that person, would I just go to Google and type in the search box, I'm looking for a web strategist or a web designer, or not? I guess not a designer. You're looking for.
It's tough. It's definitely tough. As Kirsten said, the amount of money you might spend is going to vary. The way I describe it a lot of times is that what race are you getting into, right? Are you going to get into a pedal car race? Are you getting into a go-kart race? Are you getting into an Indy car race? And if you're going up against the other Indy cars, well, guess what? You can't get into an Indy car race with a pedal cart.
Right.
And so you have to understand what your market is. If you're getting into the market like real estate, if you're in Tampa, you go, oh, I want to be #1 for real estate in Tampa. Well, guess what? You're in an Indy car race, and you cannot go in that with a pedal cart budget. But if you're getting into, custom interior desktops or something, where it's so niche and so small, and there's only one other person in the entire area that's doing that, well, then you probably can get away with it with a pedal cart.
Gotcha.
So how much you spend, it can go anywhere from several $100s per month up to several $1,000s per month or more, depending upon what you want to do, who the competition is, what your market space is. It's a lot of people go, oh, how much? And I tell people, well, that's like walking into a contractor's office and saying, hey, I want to buy a house. How much?
Right. Okay.
Well,
In addition to that, I think it's important to realize that your website's never done. It's always a work in progress. So you can start off with a simple WordPress backend of a website that's a content management system. Any of your employees can go in and change things. You don't have to be a coder to add pages. So if you start something simple like that, it doesn't have a big shopping cart on it with all the bells and whistles, you can get started, start getting some leads, and find out, if your business can, make it on its own as well without making this huge investment where, you're starting this business and you're buying this $15,000, $20,000 website. It's not always necessary to get results. Get your foot out there, get some dollars rolling into the door, and then, keep investing and get more features on the website, and you can really.
It's about expectations. What's the expectations of the owner? What do they want to accomplish? And budgets. For me, I don't talk, this is how much it's going to cost. I talk to the client and say, well, hey, what are you looking to do? What are your goals? How much money? What kind of budget do you have? If you say to me, hey, I want to go rent a house and I've got $1,000 a month to spend, well, you've got a budget for a house. And if I'm showing you houses, well, showing you a $3,000 a month house isn't going to be any good. And if I show you a $250 slumlord house, you're going to be, well, what are you showing me here? I got $1,000 to spend. So I think it's important that as a business owner, that you pick a budget and be okay telling somebody, hey, I'm willing to spend $500 a month or $1,000 a month. What can you do for me for this?
What resources are available for somebody to go look up, be it SEO, paid search, or any of that?
Right.
Where would you send somebody? Either online, is there a good book that you can go buy?
Well, books are like cars as they come off the dealership. As soon as they get published, they're pretty much out of date, especially with the search engines. Google themselves, they'll put out 40, 50 updates a month. They expect 500 updates or changes in a year. So a book is out of print as soon as it comes out, basically. A couple of really good places you can get some information from. I work with a company called SearchEngineAcademy.com. We do training around the country. They have free blogs and free webinars that you can get information from. A couple of other great locations, a place called SEO Moz, SEOMOZ. Okay. They've got, just look them up, you'll find them. They've got great information. It's regularly updated, lots of writers. It's all free. They've got some back-end tools also. They make their money on membership sites. Search Engine Land is another great place to get good, solid, quality information. And I actually subscribe to a place called Search Engine News. I've been getting their stuff for about, I don't know, it must be about 12, 13 years. One of the first things I ever bought, and every time that new subscription comes in, it's the first thing I do. Because what they do is with all the changes that go on every month, once a month, they put out a 50, 60-page document of what's changed, what's important, updates and things to keep in mind, good articles.
That's a magazine, or is it a website?
It's like a monthly online news organization, and then when you buy in, you get access to all the back articles and all the other Q&As. But it's fantastic information with all the changes that are going on. They kind of wrap it up and summarize it all in once. And of course, go to the horse's mouth. Google's got lots of blogs and video. Go get video tips. You got a question about, hey, is this the way it goes? Go to Google, look up a guy named Matt Cutts. Matt is the voice of Google.
Okay.
And it's basically coming out of the Google's mouth. Look up Matt Cutts and then look up hey, is this true? Is that true? What about this? And he's on a ton of videos and a ton of information. He's a good place to get info from.
And Kirsten, where would you go for understanding the paid advertising arena?
I think a strong place is always referrals to find out somebody who's done business with somebody had a good relationship. But also Google and MSN also offer certifications, so you can make sure that somebody's really up to date on everything that's changing, because in the back end of Ad Center and AdWords, everything is constantly changing to make it best for the user.
And you can find info on like Facebook, advertising, LinkedIn, some of these newer platforms.
Yeah, they show off their certifications, so you can definitely just look up Google Professional or MSN Ad Center, and you can find these people easily.
Yeah, Mashable is a good one for social stuff too. Mashable.
Okay. And real quick, as we're running out of time, is Google a friend or foe, or is Google a good thing? They're ruling the earth? Or,
whether they are or they aren't, they've got 70% of the search market, and the search market's about 18 billion searches a month. And then you've got YouTube, which is the second biggest search item, so Google owns them too. So friend or foe, well, if you want to make money on the web, you've got to deal with Google.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for your helpful advice and sharing your knowledge. We really appreciate it. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.